Hi, it's Angela Marie Fitness. I'm going to break down what I call the arch back pose pull move. So it's really from a pull stand, and you're going to arch the back and lean back into it. And there's a few pointer tips that I found really helpful for my pull students that I'm going to share with you. So in the pull arch back, it's from a pull stand. So in your basic pull stand on the pole, and I like to look at it from the floor first, you have one leg on the front, one leg on the back. The leg that's on the front is a leg that's going to extend, and then your hips are going to push forward into the pole as you roll the shoulders back and lean back. And you have options for 2 hands on, 1 hand on, or no hands on. And when we break it down, I like to, again, look at it from the floor so that you can kind of understand the body positioning and stuff as you think it through before you get up off the floor. So if you have one on the front, one on the back, and you're squeezing that inner thigh squeeze tight, that hip rotation inward, that's what holds you in that pull stand. The leg on the front is going to extend. So when you extend that leg, it's a nice, tight, strong leg, but you also want to rotate it inward. So you really are rotating much more in than you normally would. And with the leg extended, that allows you to do that. So you're rotating that in and you're crossing that center line, squeezing that pull tight here. The other thing that happens is that those hips are going to stay really pushed into the pole. So those hips are going to push into the pole, the leg's going to cross that center line and squeeze, and then you're going to start to roll the shoulders back. As you do that, you want to make sure that those hips stay pushed into the pole and that you don't sit back and create a space here. You want that always pushed, those hips always pushed into the pole. The hands you want low, all right? So when you're first starting out, they're of course going to be very low, hips to the pole, pulling that pole into you and pushing your hips into the pole. As you get more comfortable leaning back and secure with your leg hold, then you can release one hand, still keeping the other hand low, and then releasing both, still keeping them low and then off, of course, for safety. So what am I talking about? If we take that up, you're going to step up onto the pole. So I'm going to use with my right leg to lead. I'm going to drive that pole into the floor, take that opposite leg nice and long. So again, I'm going to face this way so you can see a little bit better. I'm squeezing the inner thighs, but that extended leg, I'm going to rotate it even more than I usually would, really squeezing those inner thighs, crisscrossing hip rotation is what I want to think about. So tight there. Standing leg is going to drive down the pole. So I don't want that leg bent up here. I want it straight as I can, getting the most contact with the pole, and I'm driving that leg down. So the other leg rotating in, driving the standing leg down. Hips are pushed into the pole, and I don't want any space right here, so I'm going to keep that tight. Pull that pole into my hips. As I'm pulling the pole and pushing my hips, I'm going to start to rotate or roll those shoulders back, leaning away, always being cautious and aware of how your back feels. You want nice and tight core as you go through. And then if you're thinking about, hey, that feels good, I'm ready to let go, then the leg that's extended, you're going to take that same arm and release it. And I'm going to turn this way so you can see from this angle. So again, I'm crossing the center line, pushing the hips in as I roll back. I want to keep my hips pushed in. Leg that's extended, that same arm is going to release if I feel good with that. So I'm still using the other hand to pull the pole into me, pushing the hips in, roll the shoulders back. So this leg is rotating in and squeezing. I'm going to twist in that opposite direction and pull back in. If I'm ready to let go with both hands, again, drive the leg down the pole, rotate the hip in, keep that squeeze tight, push the hips into the pole, leg that's extended, that arm is going to release, Okay, and that's the side I'm twisting to counter this leg. And I can release both arms. The weight of this arm tipping back is going to be harder, so I would keep it here first, and then back, and back up. So 3 things to think about with that. Leg extended, you're rotating it in and crossing that center line to squeeze that tight. Standing leg is driving down the pole. Hips are pushed into the pole. So extend and rotate inward, squeeze the inner thighs. Standing leg drives down the pole. Hips push into that pole. All right, I'm looking at it from the other angle. So left leg would lead this time. That means my right leg is going to be the extended leg. Standing leg drives down the pole, rotate it in, hips pushed in, hand options here as I rotate back. Left leg's extended, so that means my left arm could come off, or both. Okay. Hopefully that helps you with your arch back pose.